The first Purge movie came out in 2013 and takes place in 2022. The second Purge movie came out 2014 and takes place in 2023. The third Purge movie came out in 2016 and takes place during an election year. So, did they predict anything correctly with Simpsons-like accuracy? Yes, kinda. Starting with the first Purge. Sorry, not that first Purge, but the first Purge movie, which came out in 2013, takes place in 2022. There's not much that this movie, predicts or, tries to guess, because really the first Purge movie is just a home invasion movie with a fancy backdrop of this thing called the Purge. But what it does say at the beginning of the movie is that unemployment is at 1%. And according to the US Bureau of Labor Statistics, in 2022, unemployment was at 3.5%. So that prediction was wrong. But obviously it's going to be wrong because the whole point is that everyone is employed because all the poor people are dead because they get killed during the Purge. That's the other thing you could say that this movie predicts. It predicts that rich people kill poor people. But that's been happening for a while now, so I don't really call that a prediction. But when things get interesting is the Purge Anarchy, which came out in 2014 and takes place in 2023. The opening text of this movie says unemployment is just below 5%. So it went from 1% in the first movie to now below 5, which is actually correct because according to the US Bureau of Labor Statistics in 2023, unemployment rate was around 3.5%, and so yeah, that is below 5. So they did guess this correctly. And when this movie came out, it was actually above 5% at 6.2% in 2014. Just some context for the Purge universe. The Purge was created by a group called the New Founding Fathers. They call themselves a political regime, and they created the Purge so that everyone can purge their violent urges and get it out once a year. And so this way, there's no crime for the rest of the year, and everyone's employed. But what's really happening is just all the rich people are killing all the poor people, and so it's sort of like population control, and so when you have less population and getting rid of the poor people, then everyone else is housed and can be employed. All this to say, one of the New Founding Fathers in the Purge Anarchy is named Donald T. And for context, this movie came out in 2014, and Donald Trump would announce his candidacy for president in 2015. That's right, his name is Donald Talbot, and he's one of the New Founding Fathers. It's never known whether he's one of the Founding Fathers that created the Purge in the first place, or he joined the political party later. That's right, the New Founding Fathers is technically a political party, because, Blumhouse probably didn't want to pick a side of who's the good guys and who's the bad guys. But if you have any shred of media literacy, you can sort of assume what the New Founding Fathers is sort of closer to politically. That takes us to the Purge election year, which came out in 2016, which was an election year where Donald Trump was elected president of the United States. The movie takes place in the election year 2040 and is a lot more parallel to the 2016 election, since, that's when the movie came out, than it is to our current presidential election happening this year, because clearly this woman is supposed to represent Hillary Clinton. But for the sake of saying that they predicted the future, yes, they did. That in 2024 we would see another man and woman run against each other for president, and let's just say the woman wears blue. Okay, since maybe some of you will call me out on this, yes, this is the only picture where she is wearing blue, and in the movie when they debate, she is wearing red and he is wearing a blue tie. But if we take a look at the 2016 debate, look who's wearing red and look who's wearing a blue tie. And then also at the end of the movie, when they show the electoral map, her states are blue and his are red. But technically in the movie, the woman running for president is an independent, again, because Blumhouse just doesn't want to pick sides and make anyone angry. So these are, one political party is completely fictional and made up, and the other person is an independent, which again is sort of a correct prediction for the future, as in 2024, we saw the rise of a really popular independent person trying to become president, but as of recording this video, yesterday he dropped out, so. Now, the woman running for president, her name is Charlie Roan, or you could just call her C. Roan. In 2024, we saw the rise of a specific C. Roan. Charlie Roan, Chapel Roan. Coincidence? Yeah, it is. I just thought it was funny. It's just another Donald T situation. Another parallel from this movie that has happened in 2024 is that this random girl gets shot in the ear. Okay, that's kind of a stretch since she's just a random person and not a political figure. But the climax of this movie is that there is an assassination plot against the non-female presidential nominee. And all I'll say about the new Founding Father nominee is that he has a guy working for him who wears a Confederate flag on his sleeve. And there's only one party in the US right now which kind of those people with those flags support. That's all I'll say. Hey, that's all I'll say. That's all I'll say. The only thing we'll have to wait and see that this movie predicted is that the female nominee who wears the color blue wins the election. She wins the election in the movie and gets rid of the Purge. This is the happy ending until we get to the Forever Purge. And the other thing they specifically predicted is that she will win the state of Florida to help her win the entire presidency. So we'll see if Mrs. Harris over there will be able to turn Florida blue. I'm no political scientist. I don't know the stats on this stuff. We'll just have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. Oh yeah, and one more thing. This is how the movie ends.
Is now hearing reports about a few scattered incidents around the country where NFFA supporters are reacting violently to this defeat. They are burning cars, breaking windows, looting, attacking police officers.
Since President C. Roan ends the Purge, there's nowhere else for the franchise to go, so they have to go backwards to the First Purge. The First Purge came out in 2018, but takes place in 2017, so there's actually nothing for them to predict since they're talking about the past now. The only thing worth note from this movie is that the new Founding Fathers, which is a political party, gets elected into power, and they're like, oh, their whole platform was about bringing back the American dream and all this stuff, and basically that's been a talking point from presidential candidates for decades now.
Will Americans fall for their fear-mongering?
As your elected president, with my fellow new Founding Fathers, we make this promise. We will revive this country. The American dream is dead. We will do whatever it takes to let you dream again.
I will bring back the American dream. That's what we're going to do. You don't even hear about the American dream anymore.
Then we get to the Forever Purge, which takes place in 2048, but came out in 2021. In this movie, the new Founding Fathers are elected back into power and reinstate the Purge, but people love purging so much that they are going to ignore the law and keep purging. This movie is quite interesting and different from all the rest, and the fact that all the previous movies, specifically the first three, were predicting what American politics would be like in the next 10 years. Sort of like a cautionary tale that we're headed down the wrong road. But the Forever Purge, since it was made in 2021, the only Purge movie made after the Trump era, it's more like looking in the rearview mirror and going, I guess that was crazy, right, guys? Just to clear something up, I know I said the Forever Purge was made in 2021, but what I meant is it was released in 2021. It actually wrapped filming in February of 2020, just missing the COVID pandemic, so they didn't have to shut down. So technically, this movie was being filmed in 2019 and 2020, meaning the script was probably written in 2019, 2018. So even though it was being made during the Trump era, I still think the points I say are still valid, so there we go. The Forever Purge doesn't look forward to warn us about the future. It's specifically just making commentary about current day, basically. I mean, this is quite literally how the movie opens.
Illegal immigration on the rise.
A surge of migrants into the U.S.
America is divided by hate, economics, race, religion.
Racial tensions are flaring up all over.
White supremacy rising as disinformation spreads. Power is a biased media stoking the flames of discord.
This country feels like it's at a boiling point.
United States of hate.
I guess you could say the Forever Purge is a cautionary tale about what happens when you re-elect a bad person who did some bad things the first time they were president, and so don't vote for them again. But it was weird because this movie came out in 2021, like the election was over, like Biden has won. But I guess we can now watch the Forever Purge today and still get the same message. But really, what the Forever Purge predicted to a T is the movie Civil War. That's about it. That's pretty much all I can say. And then there's the Purge TV show, which I haven't watched. I'm sorry. But if you have watched it, let me know if there's anything it predicts right in the comments. Let me know if I missed anything that the Purge movies predicted about the future. And if you like Blumhouse movies like The Purge, I talk a lot about Blumhouse movies in the video I did about Tarot.